I, 26F, am disgusted by my boyfriend's 25M toupee. Me, 26F, and my boyfriend, 25M, let's call him Mark, have been together over 4 years now. We are great together and I think we have a remarkably good relationship. Before I open up about my issue, I want to make it clear that this isn't an AITA post. I know very well that I am the asshole in this situation and I feel selfish, guilty, superficial and stupid about this. I'm looking for people who've had similar situations and or can help me, give me some sort of perspective. Also, I will be seeing my therapist, who is a couples therapist too, about this soon. I just need to talk about it with someone and I don't feel comfortable telling anyone in my life. So, Mark has been balding ever since he was about 19. When I met him at 21, he had fully shaved his head. Not only did I not see this as a problem, I thought he looked very attractive with a shaved head. So we started dating and, through the years, Mark has tried growing his hair, shaving only part of it, trying different hairstyles, etc. I've always liked his hair and his bald head as well. I genuinely think he's one of the most handsome men alive. Mark, however, does feel very insecure about his looks and especially about his baldness. So, we both saw some of those toupee queen TikToks and he decided he wanted to get one. I was supportive, but I did think he couldn't look better than he already did. So he went and got one. Finally, yesterday was the day and I'm honestly disgusted by it. For multiple reasons. For one, it is a lot of hair. I've never seen so much hair on Mark's head. It's like very coarse, thick, abundant, blackest of black. Mark's hair was also never that dark. It also feels and smells artificial. Kind of like a wig, I guess. It doesn't blend well with Mark's natural hair, either. And, you know, I could and probably will get used to the look of it. Even though I honestly hate it. But the feel of it, it disgusts me so incredibly much. I think what makes me the most icky is that not only does this not feel anything like Mark's hair, which was thin, soft, fluffy kinda, lighter, definitely not as abundant, but it feels so much like my ex's hair. And I already hated my ex's hair. So what ended up happening is that I cannot, for the life of me, bring myself to touch him the way I used to. I used to love caressing his face and his head. I loved kissing his forehead so much. I loved petting his head. I love having his head on my chest and now I'm so disgusted and I guess triggered by it. I don't think I can do it. I feel my body tensing up whenever I get close to him. I've even actively avoided appearing at all sexy to him because I don't think I could have sex with him like this. So, on the other hand, he's so happy. He says he finally feels handsome and like himself. He says hair used to be a way for him to express himself. Apparently everyone in his life, some friends and his mom, has told him that it looks great. And I don't want to exaggerate my perspective, but my honest thought was that everyone must have been lying to make him happy. I don't know how to put it nicely, but it kind of looks like he's wearing a black plasticky bird's nest on his head. I've tried to be discreet and not say too much about how I feel because I want to support him and I want him to be happy. But I'm so bad at lying and hiding my emotions. He knows I don't like it and says I'll get used to it. I can't tell him I don't think I can get used to touching a knockoff of my ex's awful hair when petting my boyfriend's head. He says that in 2 weeks he'll be able to take it off at home. I can't tell him that he doesn't deserve a partner that's only attracted to him when he feels the least like himself. I feel awful. I've cried about this so many times in the last 24 hours. I just don't know what to do. My heart is honestly broken and I keep coming back to an intense feeling of missing my partner even though he's right there. Like, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, but 2 days ago I was convinced this was meant to be my husband and the father of my children, and now I can't picture my future with him at all. I think you can address this nicely with him. It doesn't have to be a black and white issue. Tell him you love how happy he feels with a full head of hair. That you're happy he's got to experience that feeling and expression again. Start with the positives that you can find. Then work around to your issues with this particular toupee. Because that's what this issue sounds like. Not that you don't fancy him now he has hair. Just that this hair is bad hair. We've all had bad haircuts. This is the same. Except your boyfriend is luckier because he doesn't have to wait to change it. He can find a better stylist provider. You can look together at toupees and focus on ones made from human hair so that it feels natural to the touch. There is a compromise here that works for both of you. It's not the end of the world nor your relationship. He doesn't have to be bald and you don't have to suffer the nasty hairpiece. The only odd thing that stood out to me was the issue that it reminds you of an ex. Does he know that? It sounds like he got a cheap toupee and needs a better one that matches more. Why are you crying about not having a future with him? It's just a toupee. It's an accessory he's trying out. I would just tell him honestly that you find his bald head so much more attractive and leave it at that. He may get tired of it anyway. Toupees require upkeep and can make your head hot and itchy.
Can we see it?
It's been 1 day. Give it a week to be fair. If after a week you still can't stand it, you do need to pony up and tell him. At which point, I'd leave your ex out altogether. That's weird. Just keep it simple. He's the man you love, want to marry, have kids with. He no longer looks like himself and it's really upsetting to you. You want back the man you love and will struggle to be intimate with a man who now looks like a stranger. What if you take him somewhere to get a higher quality one? At a place with more options? Or look into a transplant if he can afford it. If it makes him feel great and confident to have hair again, it'll be detrimental to his confidence for you to convince him that he doesn't look good with a toupee either. It's tough because you guys are young. I definitely would not have been prepared enough to handle baldness at 25. And may have reacted similarly. I started balding rapidly at 30. And ended up shaving my head after 45 months of agonizing over my hair. But even my similarly aged partner at the time did not handle my baldness as gracefully as you have been for yours. Toupees in general are a no-go for me. They look good on roughly 0% of the population. I would just bluntly state that this particular toupee is not it. And that while you would be open to helping him pick one that suits him better, you think the bald look is ultimately best and easiest to maintain. Insulting someone's toupee is not the same as insulting their hair emo. To be clear, he did not get the toupee from the TikTok toupee queen. I'm gonna be brutally honest here. If a hair accessory that's helping him with his self-esteem could break your heart, make you cry, and reconsider your future with him as your husband and the father of your children, I honestly think he'll be better off without you. I'm only basing this on what you wrote. Talk with him. Be nice about it and let him know this particular one isn't flattering and maybe help him look for a new one. Be supportive of both wearing and not wearing it at his discretion. Just throw a little compassion into honesty and talk it out. You say that you can't bring yourself to touch him the way you used to. It's been 1 day. Well, I will say I'm in his boat too. Except I haven't put the toupee on yet, but thanks to your post I believe I will throw it away lol. My wife also loves me bald, and although I'm self-conscious of it, I trust her opinion because she's the one I want to spend my life with. Not a fake rug on my head. He needs someone who will tell him the truth. My wife laughed when I put it on for fun. That's all I needed to know. Speak to him. Be honest, tell him how much you love him without the wig. Tell him the truth about how you feel when you see him bald and that you're attracted to that. If my wife didn't tell me, I would be walking around thinking I look like Patrick Dempsey, except I wouldn't. It's not about that he's wearing the toupee. It's specifically that one. I would say it's worth approaching gently, but blame it heavily on the ex. Something like, as you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the toupee. I've been struggling with a way to phrase this because I know how much you love it and how much it makes you feel like yourself. But it's more than just that I don't love it. The color and feel of it reminds me of my ex's hair, and the smell of it masks the smell of you that I used to love when I would kiss your forehead. I know you feel so confident when you're wearing it, and I would never want to take that away from you. But I was wondering if there's any chance we could go shopping for another toupee together, as I really liked how soft and natural your hair felt when you were growing it out, and would love to see if we could find one like that together. Maybe offer to chip in if you think it would be helpful and not hurt his pride. You know him best, as it would remind me of you more. I think you're the most handsome man in the entire world, with or without hair, and I didn't want to make you feel like I disliked the idea of you wearing a toupee, or that you didn't look as good with hair or anything. I just really specifically don't like this toupee. Even Stedman told Oprah the only one that can get away with Tina Turner hair. Oprah had a wig like it. Was Tina Turner. But it took him a while to say it. Give it time. Big sudden changes to someone's appearance are hard to adjust to. But you will. A few years ago, my husband, who has had a beard since before we started dating, shaved it off for the summer. I had encouraged him to do it but instantly regretted it. He didn't look like him. Kissing a smooth face felt weird. I felt like I was kissing a stranger. It took about a week of fighting through the weirdness and closing my eyes when kissing to get used to it. Eventually my brain adjusted. We need a picture. Go back to the toupee place with him and be involved in the hair choosing process. I think it would be okay to wait it out for a bit and let him have his moment, and then express your pre-existing discomfort with his new look. You can be honest about how you feel about it. You don't have to necessarily force yourself to tell him about the ex part of it, only if you feel comfortable enough to do so and if you believe it would be right for him to know. There are several ways that the both of you can go about it together, figuring it out the more you talk about it. I am not too well informed about toupees, but I am sure there might be various other types of toupees that would suit him better to both of your likings, or you can also talk to him about how you find him attractive just the way he is without any accessories. Try making him feel more confident and comfortable with his hairless head so he wouldn't feel like wearing one. Don't beat yourself up for it. Big changes all of a sudden are scary, but with time, communication and effort, I don't see why the problem won't be resolved. It's been one day. Chill.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.